Stop it. Let me throw it again. All right. Are you ready? Hey everybody. Well, I'm going to get this video onto you as soon as I can when I get back home. Right now I'm in Tennessee where I'm visiting children and grandchildren kind of over the Christmas break. Before that I was in Virginia also visiting family and helping with some stuff. So it's been a crazy week after a really crazy pre-Christmas. It's been a crazy post-Christmas. But tomorrow I'm going to get in the car and head back home and see my chickens and my dogs and my cat and my husband. And I've got a video pretty much ready to go about some spinning that I've been doing and a project I'm going to start. Alright, and so that's coming up next in this video is the work that I did before Christmas, before all this crazy driving. It's going to be nice to be home. Happy New Year to everybody. Now, let's look on at the project. So here's the dark brown alpaca fleece. It is so, so pretty. You can still see it's got some VM in it. I don't think I washed this, but you have to understand I've had this for probably 6 years. So I need to shake it out and get some of this VM that's still left in here. The thing I'm most concerned about is making sure that there's not any mouse poop in here, because when I first got it, there was a good bit of mouse poop, and I had to get rid of it. Had to throw out some of it. That's been a long time ago. If I can find video of when I was looking at this before, I'll do it. I know I have a smaller bag of this brown that I did clean. Now my goal. Oh, see, here's a little bit of mouse poop, but not much. Not much. Yeah. So I'm going to sort through this carefully to make sure there's not any spots where there's lots of that. This is just a rug for me, so I'm not going to be too picky about it like I would be if I were going to sell it to somebody. I'm just hoping that I have enough fiber to make a rug. I hope I do. Also, I have some kind of grayish white I'm going to show you. I think the two together will be beautiful. This isn't, I don't think this is a fleece though. I mean, I don't know. I know the other one isn't. I'll show it to you. It's definitely locks. These are long. I think I could spin this like Chris does at Pocket House Studio. And her videos and her advice have been so helpful. I would not approach this project without her encouragement. She told me she thought I had the right materials to do this. Okay, I'm going to sort through this and then I'll show you the white. Okay, now let's look at this. It's kind of white, gray, beige. I think it's in rougher shape. It's definitely got more VM. Maybe I did wash that brown because it looked, I think maybe I did. Look at all the VM in there. VM is vegetable matter. That's the lingo. So I'm going to have to pick at this a good bit more. This is the last day before we get lots of rain and very cold weather. The nice thing about this fleece, though, oh man, see, look at that. That's just really ucky. Is that there's no mouse poop in this, as far as I know. And I didn't find any more in the dark brown. And it is so beautiful. Now, some of this looks like it's dirty. That's just the tips of the locks. The locks on this is actually a pretty long staple length. The brown was not a very long staple length. Have some friends coming up to visit. That's thing one there. Thing two, there's two of them look so much alike. They're leaving now that I'm talking to them. Okay, I'm going to pick at this a little bit. It's getting pretty cold out here, so I may have to go inside soon. This is one of my winter projects, is to turn this into at least one rug. I think I can do more than one. I don't know. Then I'm going to have to find a source for more fleece, wool or alpaca. This is alpaca. If I decide I want to make more of these, I'll have to see if I like it. I like to make practical things. I don't really like to make only decorative things. I like to make practical things. This is hard to do one-handed, so I'm going to let you go and I'm going to get to work. All right. There's an alpaca. I decided to start spinning this alpaca, the dark brown alpaca, kind of late in the afternoon today. It's before Christmas. I decided to start with this because I think it's actually cleaner than that bag of, no, not that bag. It is cleaner than the white. It's also cleaner than what's in here. I'm wondering if this is the dirty alpaca that I need to go through. Like, there's some mouse poop right there, very old. So, anyway, the big bag that we looked at earlier, I've barely put a dent in it, and I've got about a half bobbin full, maybe. And it is so fun. It's so non-fiddly. It's just great fun. I'll record some of it later and show you. Okay, good morning. Well, I'm still spinning this alpaca. I oiled my machine this morning really well because it was squeaking yesterday when I did this. It squeaked more the more I spun because I think the bulk of this alpaca as it's going into the orifice is just thick. It's hard for it to pull it. I was having to increase my tension as we went, and I may still have to do that to get it to go on, but I'm having so much fun. I love how you don't have to fiddle with it and finesse it to get this perfect thin line of spinning. You want it to be chunky and really thick and thin with big wads of alpaca going through. It's so soft to handle. I don't know that I'm very good at this, but I'm just going to give it a try because it's so much fun. So I'm going to spin a little bit and let you see what it looks like. Okay, I've got the heater running. Hope that's not too distracting. You just let lots of big pieces go through like that, because that's the bulk and the comfort of your rug. I'm only doing this as I feel like I have seen Chris and Andrew do it from Pocket House Studio. And of course, I'm not any kind of spinner like they are, but I'm imitating as well as I can. Now, I don't have my little single drive treadle wheel going nearly as fast as their Ashford electric wheels, which Chris spins on high, she said. And I'm not doing that, obviously. It would all come apart and I would panic. I see it slowing down some. I got that tension. Isn't that fun? I feel like I might have too much twist, but she said it's important to have twist to strengthen the rug. This brown alpaca is really pretty clean, and so I'm just going to go with it. I'm really not finding hardly any VM. I don't remember if, I don't think I washed this, because if I had washed this, it would not have the intact locks and stuff that it has. So I really, it's been so long since I've worked with it, I don't remember. I do think I took a bunch of it and cleaned it once, and maybe that's what this is. Okay, I need to, oh, you see, look at that, isn't that fun? All right, I'm going to get back to it where I don't have to talk and focus. This is going to be great, though. I'm so excited. Okay, here I am taking it off of the bobbin and putting it onto my nitty knotty. It is holding together. I haven't had any of it break, so it's got enough twist to keep it together, keep it strong. I also want lots of fuzz for softness. She did say to spin but not ply. It's supposed to be a single, so I'm going to go with that. I feel like I probably need more big fuzzy spots and less hard ropey, but now I didn't fill up my whole bobbin because my wheel started to squeak again, and it just was having a hard time pulling it up, so I stopped. I figure that's okay when I spin it, when I weave it. All right, let me snip this off, and I will don't know what to do with this. I feel like it doesn't really need to be cleaned. It's not, yeah, it's a little dirty. I think I'll wash it once. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. When I say it's a little dirty, See my finger? So that's, I mean, it's not filthy all over the floor, but it's a little dirty. I washed that little bit of alpaca. It really didn't look like a lot, but I still have, I barely put a dent in this bag. So I think I'll get quite a bit. This will be easy to do. The white may be a little bit more of a challenge, or the gray, maybe I should call it beige, because it's dirtier. Although I've got that one chunk that's a lot cleaner. I might just do it. All right, and then I'm going to weave it on my rigid heddle loom with cotton warp twine, nice strong cotton twine, and just weave it into a rug and see how it feels on my toesies. Won't that be fun? Well, this is my third bobbin, and as you can see, the spinning is going better. I'm able to get more on the bobbin now. I realized one of the reasons the wheel was squeaking was I had my tension turned too high, and it wasn't the tension that was preventing it from loading up. It was just kind of getting overwhelmed sometimes at the orifice with just big wads of fiber, and it would get twisted up. The twist would curl it up in there and make it more like a ball, and it couldn't pass through. So once I got better at preventing that from happening and straightened that out, then it's just been feeding really well. I might do a bit more on this one, but it's coming out just like I want it. I think I'll add one more little comment here, and that is that I don't think I could do this kind of spinning unless I had just a good size orifice, which that's probably standard for many wheels. But the other thing that's important are these little sliders instead of hooks. If I had hooks, I think I would have caught this fiber on hooks over and over again. But with these sliders, these nice plastic smooth sliders, they just go straight through. And that's really helpful if you're doing bulky stuff. All right, I'm going to finish this one, give it a wash and a dry. It's a rather dreary, rainy day out there. Not cold, but very wet. So let's look at some of this fiber I've been spinning. Now here's one I did yesterday. And just a hand washing with some gentle soap and tepid water and hanging it overnight has really taken some of the twist out of it. Out of the single, not out of the individual strand. There's still plenty of twist in that. Isn't that lovely? This is the one I just took off my Nitty Knotty, and see how it naturally just really does a little corkscrew with itself. That will all fall out when it's very bunchy twisty. But you really do need it to be strong. So Chris at Pocket House Studio said, so get plenty of twist in it so that it'll hang together when it's a rug. It's got to take a beating more than any garment you would ever knit with your own homespun. Okay, time to go wash this one. Looks like little animals, doesn't it? Well, you'll be glad to know that I have made it back home, and it's now January 3rd today. So this is my first full day back home, and I'm putting the video together for you. I wanted to show you a couple of things before we sign off today. The first is kind of the thing that inspired me years ago to even think about weaving a rug. And that is some rugs like this. I may have mentioned this before. I can't remember. I have 6 of these rugs. I got these rugs when I lived in Iowa, which was almost 30 years ago. And so I think you'll have to agree that they have held up really well. These were woven on a loom, a big floor loom, by an elderly man who lived in the rural area near us when we lived near Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And an elderly lady that I knew, we would get together and we would sew scrap fabric, long strips of scrap fabric, end to end. We would sew them so that we would have these long pieces, and we wad them up in a ball, I think. And we would take them to this man because these were older ladies who they were thrifty and they didn't waste anything. And so they had all this scrap fabric from all the years of sewing. And this man wanted the scrap fabric because that's what he used for his weft, okay, going across. So this was somebody's skirt and that was somebody's blouse and who knows what. And then for the warp, boy, see, it's in pretty rough shape. You can see he's got some cotton string that he's used for that warp, and it must be really sturdy because I do have a blue one. I'll put a picture of it here that's a little worse for the wear because I used it so much because I loved blue, but I have a couple of pink ones that don't have any damage at all. This one has a little bit. This is what it looks like when the warp starts to give and it begins to come loose, and you can see the fabric there. And this is just raw scraps of fabric. It looks like they're about an inch wide, all different colors. So it's very possible to, let me measure this real quick. Let me get out my ruler. A little, about 25 inches wide. I've got a 32-inch rigid heddle loom, so I could certainly do rugs that were this wide and as long as I like. I never really thought about doing it before. I kind of assumed it would be too hard, too heavy of a project for my loom. I've mentioned Chris and Andrew at Pocket House Studio, and Chris is the one who told me that, yes, that this is doable on my loom. I'll need to beat it really hard with the alpaca, but I don't know why I couldn't also do cloth ones like that. The other thing I want to show you is this bag. My daughter got this for me for Christmas, and it is specifically for knitting or doing yarn work. It's got little holes there that you can pass your yarn through. If you have your ball of yarn on the inside or a skein, you can pass the end through here and it won't go rolling away. It's got some nice pockets inside, and this is the bag I want to use to store my alpaca that I've spun. Now I've done 4 balls so far. I'm going to get the scale out and we'll see how much they weigh, okay? All right, first one is 57 grams. Second one is 64 grams. Third one is 72 grams. I think I was getting more courageous as I went along. And the last one is 83, so they're getting bigger. I think as I was able to master that difficulty with the orifice, the bunching up of the single as it went in, because it was spinning, and if it would get too much twist, it would almost knot up right at the orifice, and then it wouldn't go through. But once I kind of mastered that, oh, you see he's over there, then I could load my bobbin more, and I didn't have to crank down the tension quite so bad, because that was not solving my problem. All right, so got a nice new bag for keeping this in, and now that I'm home, I've done the laundry and vacuumed the floor today and cleaned up the kitchen, and hopefully tomorrow I'll start spinning again, and I'll keep you apprised of the development on this rug or rugs. I don't have any idea how far it'll go, how far this fiber will go. I did notice when I watched Chris weaving, now they have big, hefty looms, floor looms, but she, you know, I mentioned that she spins a single and she doesn't ply it, but then she does load up her shuttle with a double strand, and she weaves a double strand of this alpaca. So she kind of has an unspun double, if that makes sense. And that's what I intend to do. And I think it'll make the weaving go faster and make it a nice, tough rug. Okay, that's it for today. Like I said, Happy New Year. I hope everything is fine with you. Everything is fine with us. It just was a very busy holiday. Thanks. I'll see you again next week.